Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, EV cars, whether you like them or hate them, they are here to stay. Recently, we showed you our ID Buzz, which we've modified. It was showcased at Goodwood Festival of Speed, and it was well received. So we thought, you know what? Let's do another EV. So let me introduce to you the Top Gear Car of the Year 2025, our own Renault 5 E-Tech. This is our latest acquisition, a brand new Renault 5 E-Tech. Now, we've actually had this for a couple of months. We've been using it and we've got very accustomed to driving this car. And I've got to say, it is a fun car. But before we go for a drive in this car and talk about what the plans are for this particular project, we're very lucky here at CAS to own the OG, the original Renault 5 GT Turbo, our own 1990 GT Turbo. So let's go out for a drive in this first. So here we go, my 1990 registered Renault 5 GT Turbo. This is actually the Phase 2 model, so it differs a little bit in terms of performance, but more so looks from the Phase 1 model. 118 brake horsepower from memory. Good for about 0 to 60 in about 7.5 seconds. Obviously, that's not quick by modern standards, but in period, that was pretty quick. And top speed of around 120 miles an hour. The biggest thing with this car is the weight. This car weighs 850 kilograms, which is next to nothing compared to modern cars. And you do feel it. It's very nimble, it's very agile, it's very tinny. There are no driver aids. I'm not even sure if it's got ABS. So yeah, it literally is about you and the car. 3 pedals, small steering wheel, a little bit of turbo lag. Let's just see where the turbo kicks in. So let's drop it down, slow down a little bit. So we're at 3,000 RPM, and I'm pretty confident the turbo kicks in just past 3,000. Yep, turbo gauge goes live. Yeah, and okay, it doesn't throw you into the back of the seat, but you do know the turbo has kicked in. I've been told by the media team when we were out earlier on getting some rollers that you can actually hear the turbo spooling up, but inside the cabin there is no noise. Original wheels, original suspension, which isn't tired. And look guys, handling, very, very, very good. It's front wheel drive, and I do recall when these were modified back in the 90s that you used to get a lot of torque steer because you just couldn't get the power down, couldn't get the grip in the front tires. It's a fun car to drive, nimble, agile, compact, small cabin, and you feel it. You can throw it around and you can enjoy it. And I think that's the great thing about these cars, is the fact they are so small and it puts a smile on your face. These cars were made famous by Max Power, which came out in sort of mid-90s. Young guys were modifying them, adding wild body kits, gull-wing doors, Lamborghini doors, big bass bills, big audio bills, and it was very easy to tune these back then and get 200 brake horsepower out of them, and it wouldn't cost you a lot of money. Just imagine 200 brake horsepower out of a car that is a tin can, 850 kilograms. That's a lot of power. And as we all know, Ali G made the Renault 5 extremely famous with all the videos they did of him driving around Feltham, which is literally just down the road from us in Hayes. So yeah, very cool car. Some nostalgia with this car as well. You know, I'm driving around, there's a lot of people that are giving me a thumbs up because you just don't see them on the road. Inside, there's no power steering. You don't feel that the steering wheel is heavy when you're driving, but if you are trying to park the car, it is a nice little workout on your biceps. very plasticky inside. You know, all of this is plastic, nice interior, nice bucket seats, but everything else, dash, everything, these little cubby pockets, ashtray, you don't see those nowadays. Everything is plastic, no tech whatsoever. I think the window switches are as much tech as you get in this car. Now, this episode's not about this car. It's about the new Renault 5. So let's jump into the new Renault 5 and go out for a drive in that. I've got to say, what a thrilling and fun drive. Yes, it's not very quick, but it's just the way it delivers the power, and being so small, nimble and agile, it is great to drive. A lot of thumbs up driving this around Hayes, because it's not a car that you see on the roads anymore. That's enough of this car. What you're really here is to hear about that car, the new one. So before we go for a drive, let's do a little side-by-side comparison with these two. Now, there are some subtle nods, like throwback nods to the original Renault 5. If we look at the front, obviously you've got the Renault 5 emblem on the front, but there's a little nod to the French flag there within the lights, the tricolour there, blue, white, red. On the bonnet itself, you've got the Renault 5 emblem. Now, this is just not an emblem. These are LED bars. Each light represents 20% charge. So when the car's fully charged, all 5 are lit up. When it's 60% charged, the first 3 will be lit up. That's pretty cool. Walking around the side. And this particular vehicle is called the Renault 5 E-Tech Iconic. The Iconic has a few additional features inside, such as heated seats, lumbar support. The color is pop yellow, and we've gone for the black roof. You've got the Renault 5 decals there as well, which is kind of quite cool as well. Wheel sizes, now big difference to the original. The original has 13-inch wheels. This now has 18-inch wheels. They're not very wide, 6.5J wide, and tires 195/55. It's a square setup. It's no longer a 3-door, guys. It's actually a 5-door. Very clever hidden handle here. I've got to say, unless you're a child, there's no way an adult can sit in the back of that. It's really designed for children, but very clever the way they've concealed that rear door. Coming around the back, even on the rear lights. Now, these lights are a throwback to the original Renault 5 lights, which go along either side of the tailgate. But just here, you've got these fake air vents. These are actually a nod to the Renault Turbo 2, which is their super hot hatch. Good sized boot, plenty of space for pram, golf clubs, you know, good sized boot. We're going to fill it with subs at some point. We'll talk about that later on. So yeah, there you have it. It's a lot bigger. It's now 3.9 meters long, 1.8 meters wide, and 1.5 meters high. So it's grown a little bit. Obviously, there's a lot more tech, there's a lot more driver aids, the doors are thicker, there's airbags and so on. So now I think it's time we went for a drive. Okay, the new Renault 5 E-Tech. Before I go any further, guys, can you make sure you smash the like button? We are trying to get to 100,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of the year. So if you don't mind, just smash that like button now. Also, a big thank you to Blaine from Renault Watford for helping me spec the car and keeping me up to speed throughout the journey. Fantastic service. Well done, mate. Cheers. Thank you for that. Now, this is the Renault 5 E-Tech Iconic 5 Comfort Spec. This gives you the 150 brake horsepower. The standard Renault 5 E-Tech gives you 120 brake horsepower. And also with the Iconic 5 Comfort, you get a few more internal upgrades, such as lumbar support on the seats. You get adjustable steering wheel. You've got heated front seats as well. So it's more, as it's called, comfort spec. In terms of cost, this car was just over £30,000 registered as a brand new car. I mean, compared to the Renault 5 GT Turbo in 1990, that car would have cost you £7,000. So yeah, a big difference in price. Internally, the cabin is, I've got to say, beautiful. They've upped their game. Lots of sort of leather feel, lovely cloth interior. I think this is a recyclable interior. Stitching on the dash. I love the Renault 5 throwbacks, that sort of black gloss finish as well. Even the headlining, guys, that is quality. Everything inside this cabin feels quality. They've done a great job inside the cabin. In terms of tech, it's night and day difference. Oh, the brakes, they're pretty good as well too. In terms of tech, night and day difference compared to the original car. You know, this car has a lovely touchscreen panel. You got CarPlay, you got Android Auto, you got wireless CarPlay, you got wireless charging, plenty of driver aids. And talking about driver aids, one thing that Renault have done, which is, let's throw it into the corner. Yeah, a little bit of body roll there, guys, but not bad. It's quick. The power delivery is very good. So what Renault have done is put a little button on the right hand side here with a picture of the car. There's an orange LED on top. If you hit that twice, it turns off lane assist. Performance wise, this is actually very similar to the Renault 5 GT Turbo, the OG. 0 to 60 is around 7.5 seconds. So, and it feels that way. The difference is, it's telling me there's a speed camera coming up. The difference is that there's no noise. It's perfect for urban use. Yeah, there are many other EVs out there which are a lot quicker. That's not what this car's about. 150 brake horsepower, and you do feel it. It's a lot heavier than the OG as well. This car weighs 1,450 kilograms compared to 850 kilograms. It's nearly double the weight. We're talking what, 70% uplift in weight. Talking about the tech as well, one thing I do like is that you don't have to go through the menu to adjust the AC. You've got buttons here for temperature control and also for fan control. I think what Renault have done is looked at the market and thought, okay, what do we need to improve to make our customers' lives that much easier? And they've done that, and I really love that. They've listened to their customers. There's also a rear view camera and that kind of stuff. To be fair, you'd expect that on more or less every brand new car. Steering wheel wise, it's not overly heavy. It's a nice feel actually from the steering wheel. So weirdly enough, this car also suffers from torque steer. You might have seen it there, just like the original. So when you do put your foot down, the front tires are grappling for grip. In fact, let's try it now. Less so there, more so earlier on. Power delivery, very good. It feels quicker than 0 to 60, 7.5 seconds, although here was 0 to 50 because we're on a 50-mile-an-hour road. But that's what the spec sheet says. Steering wheel wise, as you'd expect, you've got all your volume controls. You've also got your speed limit controls and cruise control, and you've got this little button here called multi-sense, and if you flick through that, just press it, you can go through all the different settings such as eco, sport, and that's what I use this car in all the time. You've got comfort as well, perso, I'm not sure what that means. The lights do change color depending on which mode you're in. So if I go back to eco, it's now green for obvious reasons, and sport from memory is red, and that's red. I also love the digital dash layout, and you can change that, you can customize it to your own needs. You can either have Waze in the middle, or you can even tell you stuff like your driving style, if you're conserving battery or are you actually caning the crap out of the car, which means obviously your range is going to reduce. Now, talking about range, this car is good for about 250 miles according to Renault. Real world, we're 1,000 miles in. Summer months, AC's on most of the time, including now. We're getting about 220 miles on a full charge, which is pretty good. Although we have now recently started just to charge up to 90%, because we've been told that will extend the life of the batteries. So we're getting about 200 miles on a 90% charge, which I think is pretty good. Turning circle is fantastic as well. I'm not going to try that here, obviously, on the A312. But yeah, it turns very quickly. In fact, it's like a London black taxi the way it turns, the full turning circle. I've got to say Renault have done a great job. There is a reason why it has been voted Top Gear Car of the Year. Price, looks, performance, quirky throwbacks, all the tech, that little button on the side there to turn off the driver aids. They've done a really good job. I think this car is so good that some of the guys and the team at CAS are changing their thought process on EVs. Now, ultimately, we do get a lot of EVs through our workshop. They are here to stay. And I think you'll probably end up seeing a lot more EVs on our fleet that will be modified, because ultimately what we do is improve the audio and the tech in classic or modern cars, and also improve the handling and the look of the car, such as wheels. So the bigger brother of this, the Alpine A290, I've fallen in love with those. So I don't think it'll be long before you see an Alpine A290 on the CAS fleet. One thing, guys, I absolutely detest with this car is the gear lever. It sits up here just behind the steering wheel. I don't get it. That's like a Mercedes thing. Sometimes I've gone to hit the wiper and I've accidentally hit the gear lever. Not a good location. I can probably see that maybe in a phase 2 model that gear lever will move to somewhere here. You've got the parking handbrake just there. Why not have it somewhere here? So yeah, there we have it. Renault 5 E-Tech. Let me get back to CAS HQ and then we'll talk about what our plans are for this particular car. I've got to say that was a fun drive. It's very similar to the OG in terms of power delivery and so on, but so different in the way it drives and handles. Obviously a little bit bigger, a lot more body roll, and you can feel it in this car. But I've got to say, Renault have smashed it out of the park. There's a reason why this was voted Top Gear Car of the Year 2025. Price, looks, drive, performance. As a package, it is a great car. But for me, there's nothing that can compare to the original. I'd rather jump in the original any day of the week. Okay, you lose out on tech and CarPlay and so on, but the fun and the smile this has on your face, it can't be matched by the new one. But Renault have done a great job. So I'm going to say it again, big thank you to Blaine from Renault 5 Watford for helping us choose the car and all the whole order process and so on from start to finish. Great service. Now the plans for this car, as with every EV that has come through CAS and the workshop, the audio in all EVs is pants. Even if you've upgraded the audio, for example, on like a Porsche Taycan to the Bose setup, it's pants. So the first thing we're going to do is pull out the stock speaker system and replace it with something a little bit more modern, add an amplifier, add some bass, and just lift the sound inside that cabin so it becomes a little bit more enjoyable to drive, because ultimately it's an EV, you've got no engine noise, you've got no turbo noise, but at least you can have some good quality sound inside the cabin. And then we're going to talk about suspension and wheels. The car's sitting a little bit too high for our liking, so we'll talk about that later on. But the next episode will be about the audio. So guys, thanks for watching. As always, make sure you smash that like button. Make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. We're getting very close to 100,000 subscribers, and hopefully you guys are enjoying our content. If you're a subscriber, you'll know when the next episode of this drops, because it's going to be imminent. Could be next weekend. So guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.